Well, surprise, surprise, lawyers for former President Donald Trump have officially entered the fight to prevent the release of his tax returns. This after the Justice Department ordered the IRS to turn over the documents to lawmakers last week. CNN's Kara Scannell joins me now from New York. So Kara, I guess what happens now, right? I mean, Trump has been fighting this on multiple fronts for years now. Where does this one go from here?
Yeah, Jim, I mean, this particular fight, he has been underway for 2 years. So for now, the new move here today is that Trump's legal team has entered this. They're asking the judge overseeing this case to permanently block the Treasury Department from turning over Donald Trump's tax returns to the House Ways and Means Committee. They're saying that this is an effort that is purely political. In this 37-page document, they cite multiple Democrats' comments about the need for Donald Trump to make his tax returns public, including the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. They're saying it's a transparent effort to harass the former president and to potentially embarrass him. I mean, as we had seen from the New York Times reporting, Donald Trump did not pay taxes for a number of years. What this committee is looking for is 6 years of the former president's tax returns. And his lawyers are fighting this. The committee says that they are doing this because Donald Trump is being audited, and as part of their oversight role, they should be able to look at how the IRS handles that. But the reason why this is going to be a big fight, and one that will likely proceed for several more months now, is because the big concern that this committee could make these returns public. And Donald Trump and his lawyers have fought for years to try to prevent the president's tax returns from becoming public. What we'll see next here is that the judge will likely set up a briefing schedule. Then we'll see arguments, and this will play out over the next several months. Donald Trump has made an effort in multiple of these cases. There are other efforts by other House committees to get tax returns and other records from his accounting firm. Those have been on hold. The president, of course, the former president, has made a big effort to fight all these things, including, of course, going to the Supreme Court twice to try to stop the Manhattan DA's office from obtaining his tax returns. Jim?
Yeah, it's funny them turning the audit excuse on its head there, right? Because he had used the audit as a reason not to turn over his taxes in Congress, trying to turn that one around. Kara Scannell, thanks so much. Here to discuss the legal implications of all this, what happens next, former federal prosecutor and CNN legal analyst, Elliot Williams. Elliot, good to have you here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's been fighting for years not to have tax returns go public. This is one path. The Manhattan DA already has it and is proceeding with his own investigation there. Does he have a chance to block this?
This isn't an awful Donald Trump court filing, Jim, believe it or not, and we've seen a lot of doozies. Look, two things can be true. The House Ways and Means Committee can have a valid investigation into how the IRS works and audits people, but also Democrats and many members of the public have wanted to see the president's tax returns publicly, and they say it right here, that this is part of a broader nationwide effort by Democratic officials to obtain President Trump's financial information. He's making the case that no, this isn't about the IRS or congressional oversight. This is about making his tax records public. He's got a bit of a point.
Understood. Okay. So if he loses that argument now in court and it does go to Congress, will you and I see those? Will they become public?
Not necessarily. This is being turned, it would be turned, and I want to be clear, Congress, in my view, has the right to investigate this material. I'm just saying it's not a frivolous argument that he's making. The materials will be turned over to the House Ways and Means Committee, not even the full House of Representatives. They'd have to vote in Congress to even make the materials available to the full House and then to make them available to the public. If Congress is doing what they're saying they want to be doing, they're not making these public, but come on.
I mean, as I always note, since Nixon, presidents and presidential candidates have voluntarily shown their tax returns to the people. Okay, tell us time frame here, because Donald Trump is expert at stretching things out in court. Is this one that he can stretch out for much longer?
Yeah, just because litigation takes a long time, just exactly as Kara had said, number one, the briefing schedule is going to take some weeks to set up, then hearings and so on. So Congress isn't seeing these tomorrow, though they should. And
just quickly on the House Ways and Means Committee, because as I remember, wasn't there some language about they shall have the ability to do this? I mean, this is not out of nowhere, right, that they claimed this right.
Right. The Justice Department was where that language came from, and said explicitly that Congress, in its oversight authority, has the ability to look into these tax returns as long as they're narrowed in what they choose to use them for.
Let me move on to another topic here. Former President Trump, personal attorney, now getting involved, filing to try to stop the personal tax returns being turned over to Congress. What's the chance that the president and his attorneys will be able to stop that?
Well, you know, we remember how protracted it was in the past. Only just recently has the Manhattan DA's office been able to obtain what people were trying to get when it was candidate Donald Trump coming down an escalator, let alone when he was President Trump. And this is all coming back to the idea of his lawyers are now asserting what they did before, but now he's a party. It's not the executive branch that's going after or trying to defend against the request from the House and Ways and Means Committee, because they're saying, look, this is, they claim, a protracted political witch hunt. There's no rhyme or reason other than try to embarrass the former president of the United States or to allow the IRS, through what he says is a protracted audit process, to use the fact that the House wants to know about it to try to harm him or undermine the audit process. But what they're saying in Congress here, Victor, as you know, is the idea of, look, we have a role as legislators, and we would like to know that the presidential auditory process is actually good, correct, and sound. And we need to know the last 6 or so years of this president, including other matters of his organization, to figure out if our legislative process is working. Now, they're going to have to convince the judges of this very notion. And I believe it's a political, someone who was appointed by the former President Donald Trump, who'll be looking at this matter in part. But the idea of saying, look, we have a legislative purpose. It's been found before to be valid. Let us use that authority in order to get it. But you have to worry about the notion of the political optics of all of this, and what Trump knows very well, the tagline, the slogans of partisan witch hunt can be very, very loud and deafening at times.
We'll see what the judge decides. Laura Coates, thank you for helping us understand it.